Hello, how you doing? Good morning and welcome to God Concept Podcast, episode number 9. What if there was a different America, right? Put my podcast on the stand. What if there was a different America, right? One that we never was told about. One filled up with folklore, one filled up with these folklores that happen to be real. You know, accounts, things that happened a long time ago with your ancestors, your predecessors. But you ain't feeling right. The stress of all. Did you know that if you go on the United States website, phila.gov, or not phila.gov, is it phila.gov? But .gov, period, that you can find a portion of the website that speaks on folklore America before it was American, how things were done. And the people that was brought here with the different characteristics and the different beliefs. And people believed in different things, mythological creatures, animals, so forth and so forth. Who's to say we're not still attached to that folklore part of America? I think that's a lot of our problem in America, you know, in general, as a people in general. We see ourselves just as merely what we are. We see ourselves as that person that get up every day, do that job that they appointed themselves to do. You know, they signed the application. They wanted this job from somebody. You know, we're more than the everyday things we do. There's a physical world that we're living in, and there's a spiritual world that we're living in, and there also is a mental world that we're living in. You gotta master all three, man. You have to not master all three, gain proficiency at all three. How about get proficient at the craft of the mental aspect of you? How about getting proficient at the craft of your spiritual aspect of you? How about getting proficient at the craft of the physical aspect of you? But how do you do these things if you never tried to get proficient at mastering the different attributes of you, the different things that make you, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual? How do you do that? It takes meditation. You have to know who you are, man. Bottom line, I keep talking about meditation and things of that nature, and that's a scapegoat, really. I mean, bottom line is, you have to know who you are. That's the bottom line. I'm going to keep it funky with you. If you don't know, if you don't talk to your grandparents, if you don't talk to your father and mother, if you don't talk to your great-grandparents, the predecessors that came before your predecessors, how the hell do you supposed to know who you really are, right? I could break down who I am. I could break down my family history. My grandmother is the person that I talk to the most in life. My grandmother is the person I talk to the most in life. Not because I love her, even though I love her very dearly, but because I want to know about her past. I want to know how she grew up. I want to know what she saw when she grew up. That's why I make sure I talk to my grandparents. It's important to do that because you have to know where you come from. I wouldn't know who I am today if it wasn't for my grandmother. I wouldn't know who I am today if it wasn't for my grandfather. I wouldn't know who I am today if it wasn't for my father, because he's told me accounts from his side of the family, from him coming over here as a baby from Cuba. He actually has the baptismal paper from Cuba. They didn't have birth certificates when he was born, so he has baptismal papers from Cuba, and they have my name on them because I'm a junior. Yeah, that's how they documented your birth in Cuba, baptismal papers. Yeah. So you have to find out who you are. You have to know who you are. You know, there's the other whole side of my family that I don't know, the Irish side. I would like to know him. I mean, I feel like I know him because I know me. I know me. So if I know me, can I say I know my Irish side of the family? Yeah, I think I can. There's talks about having family reunions with the Irish side, the Native American side, or some of them like calling themselves black or whatever they want to call them. Whatever you want to call yourself. Whatever floats your boat. Because you're not black. Black is a color. Black is not a nationality. Yeah, you got to find out what you are, man. Because this world will throw you through a loop just because you don't know what's in you. That's like you growing up in a neighborhood and your father being in that neighborhood all your life. Your father and your mother being in the neighborhood your whole life. That neighborhood knows things about your father and mother that you don't know about them. Your father and mother maybe had many friends in the neighborhood, and that's a great thing. But what about the envious ones? What about the jealous ones? What about the people that you don't know about? What about the enemies that your father and mother made in that neighborhood? That's why you have to know who you are. Your father and mother is supposed to tell you who you are. A lot of times we're not fortunate enough to have fathers and mothers that tell us who we are. But us, my generation, I'm an 80s baby. I'm 86, right? I'm not too old, I'm not too young. My shit is just right. like Goldilocks story and shit, right? Not too cold, not too cold, not too hot, just right. That's me, right? The whole thing is you have to know about these things. If you're not told accounts of your neighborhood, of who you are, of your surroundings, then you'll fall for anything. You'll fall for anything and everything because you really don't know what to stand for. You standing for things that you shouldn't even worry about or concern yourself about. Because in the past, what it did to your ancestors or your father, your mother, wasn't right. Or sometimes it's something there that you should have known about because your father and mother was involved with it, and it's something that you should get involved with. But they don't let you know. The community don't let you know. Because they were shunned or your father or mother shunned the community and decided they wanted to stop doing it. Even though it's what they were supposed to do and it's what you were supposed to do. Because we're connected and tied to the people and things around us. So sometimes we have to do actions within our community. That's our calling from our Creator. Sometimes that's what we have to do. But you don't know that because you don't know your forefathers. You don't know their thoughts and feelings. You don't know them intimately. And intimacy is not just about having sex with somebody. Intimacy is also talking and conversing and getting to know one another. That's also intimacy. See, this thing, it goes so far deep and is so woven into the very fabric of who we are that really, you're doing dishonor to your Creator if you don't tell what you've created all that you know. Because your knowledge has to be passed on in the spiritual sense, in the physical sense, and in the mental sense. Yeah, we transfer energy mentally between one another telepathically or telekinetically, however you want to say. We pass information back and forth that way. I'm not afraid to say it because I'm of sound mind and body. You know we do too. I'm going to give you a prime example. Sometimes you could look at a complete stranger and based on what's going on in the situation that's going on in your atmosphere, in your immediate atmosphere, you guys know exactly what each other's thinking. And you can walk a few blocks and then have a casual conversation. And they be like, yo, I was thinking the same exact thing. As soon as you spark up a casual conversation about what was previously going on, your thoughts are similar. That's because that we pass information mentally. We pass information physically. We pass information spiritually. So if you have a mother and father that don't tell you or inform you about this mental connection that we have to everybody, this spiritual connection we have to everybody, this physical connection we have to everybody. You have done your kids, and you've done your kids a disservice, probably because somebody did you a disservice in your life as a child and didn't equip you with the knowledge that you needed to combat everything in the totality that this world has to kick your ass with. And there's some things that we can't expound upon because it's frowned upon if you expound upon certain things. But I'm here to let you know that these are 3 aspects about yourself that you have to master: the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. If you don't have those 3 in accord with each other, what can I say? You have to be able to cope and understand the information that's being processed by each processing system. It's your goal. It's your goal to take this information, run with it, and do what the Creator appointed you to do with it. And I mean, really, I can't expound upon what the Creator wants you to do with this information. I can't. Maybe it's just for you to gain knowledge, live a life, and, be prosperous. I don't know if the prosperous part even counts. Maybe prosperous means just be fruitful and multiply. Maybe the prosperous mean become philosophical-like. Because the more we grow, the more we learn. We're supposed to, right? If we're talking about gaining proficiency or mastery of craft. Is life not a craft itself? So why don't we gain proficiency or master the craft of living life? Learning, loving, accepting. Whenever you feel like you think something's wrong, personally, because your mental, your physical, and your spiritual is all in accord with each other. But at times, there's a little confusion between the 3. That's the God concept. That's your Holy Trinity, your personal Holy Trinity. Your mental, your spiritual, and your physical. Sometimes they conflict each other. And when the mental, the spiritual, or the physical conflict each other, it can make you feel a certain way. It can give you certain feelings and emotions that may not be based on anybody or anything. It's just you. It's just you having to get in balance with you. You have to get in balance with you, because getting in balance with you is getting in balance with the Creator. That spiritual aspect is deep. The mental aspect is deep. The physical aspect is deeper, because it makes you feel, because this vessel, that's the physical. The mental is a bridge between the physical and the spiritual. So when this physical go through something, man, it hurts. When your mental go through something, it hurts. When your spiritual go through something, it hurts the worst. At times we think what we go through physically hurts the worst. At times we really think that the physical aspect of us hurts us worse than the spiritual aspect of us, but it doesn't. And that mental aspect is what bridge the mental and the physical together. I mean, the mental and the physical and the spiritual together. I apologize. And you gotta realize, man, some of us are blessed with having things like bipolar disorder, are blessed with having schizophrenia or whatever the case may be. You gotta understand, whatever they call is like a disorder or whatever, sometimes that's just a superpower. You could use that to your advantage if you choose to use it to your advantage. Me personally, I'm of sound mind and body. I'm not claiming any of it. I'm not claiming any illness of any sort, because that makes us who we are. That's our superpower. If you have a mental disability, that means you're
just extraordinary or out of the ordinary. If you have a physical disability, yeah, that could be stifling at times. But if you try, if you really have faith in your spiritual aspect and you allow your mental aspect, it can change your physical aspect as well. You're not handicapped, you're not crippled. Nobody is. You know what I mean? We think that we need somebody else to help us achieve our accomplishments, achieve our goals, and reach our dreams. But we don't. We're not handicapped. We're not autistic in any type of way. Your autism is your superpower. If you think you're autistic, if you think about it, you think differently than other people. You probably know something really, really, really well. I knew a brother, man. This guy, I guess he was on Social Security or whatever, or got disability. I don't know his case. But he would just, he would be at the McDonald's sometimes, or he would just walk around. And you could tell this guy any number in the world, and he could add it up, and it was correct. This guy brain worked better than Texas Instruments calculators, people. His brain worked better than Texas Instruments calculators, people. I mean, as far as accounting-wise, this guy was better than the best accountant. He had to be. No doubt about it. His brain and numbers, his mental state of him, the mental part of him calculated numbers like it wasn't nobody's business. You understand? Now, everything else in his life probably was in disarray because he had a mental disorder. All he was into was numbers. Why didn't that man have somebody in his life to keep him and keep him? I pray that man had somebody in his life to keep him safe and to make sure that all his business is in order. Because some of us, we're blessed with talents and abilities, but we don't know everything. You can't know everything. I suck at the legal aspect of everything because I rock under folklore. That's what I believe in. I believe in the folklore because I know who I am, and I'm more connected to the spiritual aspect of who I am. The physical, yeah, I'm connected to that because that helps me attach to that spiritual as well as the mental. But my mental and my physical is geared towards the spiritual, right? I need help sometimes with the legal aspect, with dealing with paperwork and all of this stuff and bills and all of this stuff. It's hard to me sometimes. I mean, I can get it done if I really focus on it, but it takes me away from what I really want to be focused on. And it takes me out of that comfort zone that I allow myself to have. And I think we get caught in those comfort zones that we have. You may have a mental comfort zone that you get caught in. You may have a spiritual comfort zone you get caught in. And you may have a physical comfort zone that you get caught in. For example, you may be a gym rat. That's you getting wrapped up in the physical part of you. You might not go to church at all. You might not have graduated, or you might have graduated. I don't know. Congratulations if you did. But the physical part of you at that point in your life is more what you're drawn to. So at that point in your life, you're probably going to need a little bit more help in thinking things through or the spiritual things because you're not there. It takes a special person to be in tune with the mental, physical, and spiritual all at one time. That means you're in the middle of that holy trinity of your personal being. You're in the middle of that holy trinity of your personal being if you're intact with your spiritual, mental, and your physical all at the same time. That's the key right there. You see, the key hole is normally always in the middle of a sphere. It's a circle. You put the key right in the middle of that sphere to open that door, right? That's the key. Being in the middle of your personal sphere. The mental, the spiritual, and the physical. That's the key, man. If you could do that, you could really do whatever you want to do. I don't care what type of stigma they put on you, what they call you, how they label you. If you could be the key to your mental, physical, and your spiritual, that's being in tune with all three aspects of you, oh man, The world is your oyster. Oh man. Everything is gonna oh man. Everything's gonna fall in line for you. Whether it's been in disarray in the past, the future is gonna be in line for you. You just gotta stay true to who? You. To who? The Creator. Because staying true to you is staying true to the Creator. There would be no you if there wasn't the Creator. So staying true to you is staying true to that Creator. You know what I mean? Earlier, I went on a long bike ride. I like doing my long bike rides, my excursions. I gave up the car and everything because my personal growth, my spiritual, my mental, and my physical growth, I don't need a car for that. I don't need a lot of things that I had in my life for that. What I needed was a little bit more solitude. I needed to meditate a bit more because that's how I pray. My prayer is meditation. So I needed that solitude to allow myself to have that meditation, to get more in tune with who I am spiritually, because I was always studying and researching these things, but outwardly we study and research these things outwardly. You got to understand, just the person you are, your name alone is attached to the spiritual aspect of you. Yeah, a person may have gave you the name, you know, the hospital may have typed it up on your birth certificate, you know, whatever your mother and your father agreed upon would be your name, or the government, depending on where you know, your state in life, your status. But our name, whether a person gave it to us or not, that person gave it to us because the Creator put it on their heart, their mind, to give it to us, to give us that name. I know it seemed kind of cynical and vain to think that way, but just hear me out. Because a lot of things, if you really pay attention and you look at your environment, if you look at the people in your life, if you break down the names and the role that they play in your life, you'll understand that these people and these places and this environment and this atmosphere is placed there, you're placed there by the Creator. And it's for a reason. You know, it's for a reason. You're not there to really, you're there to grow. You're there to grow. You're there to observe. Right? And you're there to follow your dream, your calling that the Creator gave you. See, that's that aspect of you that nobody else could see. Sometimes it's a grandmother. Sometimes it's a mother that can see it. Sometimes you got a person that comes into your life that can see it. Sometimes people been telling you that this been your calling for a long time. Just in conversation, just them noticing certain traits of you, certain characteristics of you. They say, hey, you know what? You would make a great such and such, or whatever it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? And sometimes we never act on that. Or sometimes we got that, we know what we're supposed to do within us, and we never act on that. Instead, we go work at Burger King, or we go work at AutoZone. We go get a great job with the trash company, or the street department of the city, or, you know, SEPTA, or, you know, water department, whatever. You know, might work at the Kimball Center, might work at the stadium down at the Live Chorus, or Staples Center, wherever, right? But is that your calling? Is that your calling to work for a corporation or a company? I mean, to be honest with you, is it your calling? Well, don't get me wrong. It can help you get to where you got to go, right? To where your destination is, right? Because everything is the vehicle. It's a tool if you let it be. But sometimes we get caught up in hobbies and jobs and relationships with people that keeps us away from getting in tune with us, that allows us to get that push towards what we're supposed to do as an individual. You know, we have soul links, we have soul ties. You know, people are in our lives for reasons and seasons. I'm more of an observer. I like to consider myself the wrist of God. That's what observer is. We're all observers. You just got to realize that. And man, what I observe is the real thing out here is blazing your own path. That's the real thing out here, man. For so long, you could try to do anything, but all it's going to amount to is you being great underneath somebody else's umbrella. You working a regular 9 to 5 or having a career or whatever, if you're not doing something that you created, that you cultivated yourself, what you're doing is you're attaching your name, your legacy to that company. If your child don't really have that oneness with their self or is in tune with their spiritual, mental, and physical, they might not ever follow their dream or their calling because you never did. That's some deep shit. Because you got to think about that. Our kids like to mimic us. So when they see us fight, argue, when they see us be pieces of shit to each other, when they see us be pieces of shit to other people, when they see us have like shitty train of thought, if they see us just be shitty people in general, what do you think you're raising? You're raising a shitty person. You know, sometimes you got a special child that can really look at that and observe that. See? Observe. See, children are observers. When you grow up, you become a little bit more cynical and you stop observing and you just start being, fuck it. It's all about me. Me. But that's the thing. It's like, you have to blaze your trail. I wanted to show my kids already know. I'm an open book to anybody and everybody, especially my kids. I keep it funky with them, 100, right? So they know I haven't graduated high school. They know I didn't go to college, but they know daddy is smart as fuck, right? But what is daddy going to do with all them smarts? I'm smart. I'm pretty sure they smart. They got it from me and they get it from their mom, you know, whatever. The whole thing is, what they going to do with that? They inspired to be a veterinarian, a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, maybe, a wrestler. Just something, I don't know. But what I would rather have my kids do is whatever it is they want to fucking do. You know what I mean? That's the best thing in the world. And guess what? I support them in whatever that is. That's what you do for them. Because their calling is not your calling. You can't push your child to be what you wanted to be because you're not that. Or push them to be what you wanted to be because you're that and you're successful at it. So you want them to do the same thing because you've seen success in that field. You can't do that. Everybody has their own calling. You know what I mean? And that's what I promote to my kids. That's what I promote to everybody. Do you. I don't look at nobody as being weird or quirky or, you know what I mean? We're different. We're definitely different, but nobody's weird or quirky. Because whatever they're trying to do in their life, whatever God called them to do might call them to be that weird, quirky person that you perceive them to be. And that's just my opinion. You know, we going to end the segment right after my promo reel. Y'all have a blessed one. Have a great afternoon. And don't judge nobody, man. Be optimistic and stay positive and combat that strong negative energy with strong positive energy always. This has been God Concept. My name is Mr. Pagan. See you tomorrow. Hey, real quick, guys. This is Mr. Pagan here. Just want to let y'all know that I have books available on Amazon, Kindle, bookstores, on your phones. I got 2 great titles available and a third one coming soon. My philosophy is, if you got a smartphone or a smart device, you already got my book in your hands. It's free for download if you got Kindle Unlimited, and it's $5 otherwise. For One Leap of Faith, it's $5, and for my book Morals and Values, it's $5.25.
Both of them are packed with insightful information on morals and values. And One Leap of Faith is to push you to get on your grind for your goals. You know what I mean? Two powerful books. I got a thriller coming up called Moonlit Marshes with a character. The protagonist is Marshall Cuts, and he's trying to get his way. He's trying to find his way out of Louisiana without getting himself hurt or killed or something. It's a great suspenseful book. Please check it out. It's going to be on Amazon Kindle store. Remember, both these books are available for free. One Leap of Faith and Morals and Value. You got Kindle Unlimited. They're available for free. And also, don't forget to check out my game stream on YouTube, Gaming, Vaping, Guns. And on Twitch, I'm GVG215. All right? And also, my music streams on all streaming platforms. Whether you got Apple, it's there. Whether you got Tidal, guess what? It's there. You listen on Spotify? Yeah, I'm on Spotify. This podcast is actually on Spotify, also the music. So yeah, we well-rounded. Everything that I'm doing is complementing each other. So please, support the movement, support my brand, support the positive energy that I'm putting out there. And you guys, be blessed. May peace be with you.